Okay, everybody, let's have a take two on this. I don't know what happened to my computer just there. I don't even think it was showing you the slides before, but everything just completely seized up on me for a few minutes. I guess it just goes to show that you don't have to be a technological genius to be a manager with Arbonne. So I want to welcome you again to our Healthy Happy Hour presentation tonight. I just got back from a trip and then just had a bit of a technological failure with my presentation. But I was really committed to get this recorded tonight to share with everybody and the consultants on my team, my clients, and other people who've expressed interest in our clean eating programs for the new year, because I think everybody's just really looking forward to like their New Year's resolutions, making changes, feeling better, just coming off the holidays where, you know, you're feeling really off. If you're anything like me, at least, I mean, I'm sitting here with my detox tea at 9 o'clock at night, or now almost 9:30 at night, just trying to get everything back in balance a little bit. You know, when our eating's been off, sleep schedules have been off, stress has been high, and now it's time to kind of bring everything back into center and focus on ourselves for a little while. And so that's what I really want to share with you guys tonight. And for those of you who were trying to watch take one of this, I don't want to dally too long on this introduction. So let me make sure the slides are going to share with you this time. I believe it's working more correctly. So let me get this set up. Hopefully it is. And you're going to be able to view my slides this time, and hopefully it won't freeze up on us in the middle. So I call this presentation A New You from the Inside Out, because I think that it's a really important thing that a lot of people don't focus on when they start trying to make changes in themselves. You know, they look in the mirror and they say, I'm not happy with X, Y, and Z. I'm not happy with my weight. I'm not happy with my fitness level. I'm not happy with my skin. I'm not happy with whatever. And they focus on trying to fix things from the outside. And that's really not, even science has proven that in order for those things to improve really in the long term, we have to start from the inside. We have to start by looking at what we're putting into our bodies and how it's affecting our health. We've had just a tremendous amount of success sharing this program with people, having them meet their wellness goals, whether that be weight loss, which for some of you it may be. It might be weight gain. It might be just improving your fitness level. It might be getting off some medications. It could be a lot of different things. But we've had clients with success in all of these areas, and it makes me really excited to share this program with everyone. All right, so I always like to start off by talking a little bit about what we mean by a good diet. And the term diet is a word that's kind of like a, it gives me a little bit of trouble, okay? Because a lot of times as a scientist, when I use the word diet, I'm just talking about what do people eat? What do animals eat? Not what humans mean when they talk about it, going on a diet, and they're talking about usually something with very restricted calories, usually something very where you're cutting out things that you love, you're giving up a lot in your diet. That's usually what we mean when we say going on a diet. In reality, most of those diets are absolutely no good for you at all. And so what we really, I don't even like to call what we do in Arbonne a diet. I talk about it as like a plan for eating, or a plan, or your relationship with food and your plan for eating, and sort of guidelines to guide how we eat. So when we talk about a good plan for eating, there's a few characteristics that should have. One of the things, and the first one, it sounds very, I don't know, it sounds very serious, I guess, that it should reveal foods that are sabotaging your health. You might not even realize that your health is being sabotaged, okay? You know, if you're anything like me, before I started the Arbonne Clean Eating Program, I was tired a lot. And I blamed it on things like the fact that I had a new baby, the fact that I was a new mom, the fact that I work kind of long hours sometimes, that I'm up late grading a lot, because that's when I can do it, because my daughter, you know, is up during the day. It's hard to get grading done while she's up, and you know, and I blamed it on getting older and things like that. And you know, really, it wasn't anything it wasn't that at all. It was what I was eating. It was that I wasn't feeding my body what I needed to give it the energy that I needed to get through the day. And that could be true for you. You may not even realize. You might be sort of, I say we create stories in our mind to explain our health and problems with our health because we don't really want to get down to the nitty-gritty and figure out what's causing it. So a really good plan for eating should help you figure out if there are foods that are maybe causing you to be more tired, giving you headaches, affecting your clarity of thinking, affecting your weight, affecting your immune system. And our plan will help you do that. Another thing it should do is it should reprogram your body to efficiently remove toxins. We're going to talk a lot about detoxification tonight, but you've probably, I'm sure, if you've lived in the world today and you've ever watched any kind of talk show on TV or walked through the checkout aisle at the grocery store, you've seen articles about detoxification, how important it is to detox, and such a 3-day juice cleanse to help you detox, or, eat nothing but cayenne pepper and grapefruit juice and it'll help you remove toxins. Your body has organs of detoxification. It has a liver, kidneys, it has skin and lungs, and all of these things, and their job is to remove toxins. And the problem is just that we've overwhelmed them a little bit with our modern diet. But you shouldn't need to drink nothing but grapefruit juice and cayenne pepper for a whole weekend. You should be able to change your diet in a way that helps your body become efficient at removing toxins all by itself. You also, a good diet should help you reset your metabolic thermostat. And what I mean by that, in the simplest terms, is that it should boost your metabolism. It should give you more energy. It should allow your body to burn more calories more effectively. And most diets actually go the other way. Most diets suppress your metabolism because they rely on low caloric intake. And so if you reduce your caloric intake, yeah, you're going to lose weight. But over time, your body's also going to adapt to that lower caloric intake, and it's going to reduce your metabolic rate. So then, if you ever decide to go back to eating normally or eating the way you ate before, or even maybe not the way you ate before, but just eating more than you are when you're on the diet, your metabolism is going to be suppressed, and that little increase in calories is going to result in weight gain. In fact, they say statistically that if you lose 10 pounds on a diet, a typical diet that suppresses your metabolism, within the next year, you'll not only regain those 10 pounds, you'll regain 150%. So you'll actually regain 15 pounds. And this is where we see this idea of yo-yo dieting happening in so many people and how unhealthy that is. Another thing that's true about a good plan for eating is that it should reduce your food cravings. Most people tell me that they give up on diets because they had food cravings, because they couldn't avoid, they wanted certain foods that they were asked to give up, and they just couldn't not eat them anymore. They had to go back to eating them. And so they cheated on their diet, and then their diet wasn't effective, so they gave up. A really good plan for eating should eliminate food cravings. Beyond the first 5 to 7 days, you really shouldn't have any cravings at all. And if you do, that's a sign that your body is missing something. And that's something we have to take a closer look at. Last but not least on my list here, I include that it should renew unhealthy skin. And what I mean, I bring that up because Arbonne is first and foremost was known as a skincare company. That is where we came onto the scene as. And we have some amazing skincare products that can help you with all kinds of issues, from acne to sensitive skin to age-related issues with your skin. But we can only improve your skin so much from the outside. Your skin, in the end, is a reflection of what's happening inside your body. And so when you get your food, your diet in line with health and wellness, you're going to see healthier skin appear. And people are going to start to comment on how good you look and sort of the glow that your skin has. And regardless of weight loss or weight gain or anything else, your skin is just going to look better when you're healthier on the inside. Now, if you have a diet that you find, or a diet plan that claims to be a rapid weight loss program, that is probably not healthy or sustainable. Okay, as I said, most rapid weight loss programs result in rebound weight gain because of suppressing your metabolism. They also rely heavily on water weight loss, which just dehydrates the body and suppresses the metabolism even more. So certainly the program that I'm going to talk to you about today is not a rapid weight loss program. In fact, It's not necessarily a weight loss program. It's not calorie limited. You won't count calories. For some people, the goal is not even weight loss. It might be other wellness goals. So if you have weight to lose, you will lose. And I include this quote because I love how it relates to this. You don't lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy and lose weight. So if your body is holding on to excess weight and you change your diet in a way to make it healthier, your body's going to let go of some of that excess weight. So we do see really successful weight loss for people who that is their goal on our program, but that doesn't have to be your goal to use this program. It's also not designed to be a once-a-year detox plan. Those once-a-year detox plans, all they do is help your body flush out toxins, but they don't do anything to change your relationship with food or how you look at food. And so you just go back to your old ways of eating, and it doesn't do anything to improve your health in the long term. You may feel a little bit better for a little while, but in the end, you're just going to go back to eating the way you ate before, and that's not what we want. We want to change your long-term relationship with food so that when you come out of an Arbonne program, whether it be our 28-day clean eating program or our Beat the Bulge programs that we run over the holidays and in the winter, regardless of which program you do, when you come out, we want you to know more about what you should be eating and activity levels that are appropriate for you and things like that. And that's why I love teaching people about this program so much, because it's not really just about Arbonne. It's about a program that can apply for your whole life. All right, so the rest of this presentation is really going to focus on what I call the 5 keys to health. If you went to 100 different physicians and asked them for suggestions for how to improve your health and wellness, they would all kind of fall into these 5 categories. Eating clean, eliminating acidic, allergenic, and addictive foods, increasing nutrient intake, balancing blood sugar, and supporting elimination organs. So you'd go home and you'd have this little checklist, this little to-do list for 2016, and you'd be like, I have absolutely no idea how to approach accomplishing any of these goals. Or at least if you're anything like me, that's what you would be thinking when you left the doctor's office. So that's not what we want. We want to educate people to understand how they can reach these goals. And make it more simple, put it into more plain language for you so you can understand how easy this could be to accomplish in your daily life. This part of this presentation really applies to everybody, whether you're going to go on an Arbonne clean eating program or not. These are tips that you can use to bring more health into your diet. So we're going to start with eating clean. Eating clean is very much a buzzword. A lot of people don't really know what it means. And the primary sort of factor in eating clean is just avoiding the man-made junk that we put in our food. You want to avoid all man-made or artificial ingredients like pesticides, hormones, antibiotics, trans fats, artificial flavors, colors, and sweeteners, etc. So the reason we need to avoid these things, our bodies did not evolve to process these ingredients. So a small amount of something like this in our body, yes, we have organs of elimination and detoxification that can remove it, but we have inundated our bodies with these artificial ingredients, man-made ingredients that it just simply does not know how to process. And it has overwhelmed our systems and it's thrown them out of balance. So these are things that when you're eating clean, you want to avoid. You also need to reduce your saturated fat intake and focus on plant-based sources for your fats. Now, when I say, we used to say eliminate saturated fat intake, but there are several really healthy plant-based saturated fats like coconut oils and things like that, that they've shown are processed differently by the body. So we're primarily talking about animal-sourced saturated fat. It doesn't need to be eliminated from your diet forever, but it really needs to be cut down. In the United States, we have way too much animal-based saturated fats in our diets. And so when you're eating clean, you want to try to minimize that and focus on plant sources for your fats. There's a couple other things we try to avoid in a clean eating program, and it's how we organize our Arbonne clean eating programs. One of them is dairy. We want our program or our diet to be dairy-free, at least for the 28 days of the clean eating program, and we encourage reduced dairy in our Beat the Bulge program. Why do we want to cut down on dairy? You might say, you know what? I've been told my whole life that I had to drink my milk before I could leave the table. And we've seen the ad campaigns, you know, milk, it does a body good, right? And the famous people with milk mustaches looking happy and fit. And the problem is, it's true that dairy does provide us with a source of calcium. The problem is the other things that come along with that in dairy. Conventional dairy, meaning not organic dairy products, have both hormones and antibiotics. And even if you're choosing organic dairy products, all dairy has hormones. The reason that the cow makes the milk in the first place is because she's had a baby cow, a calf, that she needs to feed. And it's a hormonal process in the body that causes the mother cow to make the milk for her baby. And those hormones are passed through the milk. It's perfectly fine for a baby cow to drink cow's milk and receive those hormones. But when humans ingest that, it's an external source of hormones that affects our bodies. One thing that they've shown is that it can be a big trigger of acne in a lot of people. Just getting someone off of dairy products, not even changing their skincare routine, can often clear up acne because you're eliminating this external source of hormones. There's other issues associated with dairy as well, and I could spend a whole presentation talking about some of this, but one of the concerns is that dairy is affected by environmental contaminants. There's been studies that have shown a lot of environmental contaminants being passed through the milk to humans because of the high fat content of the milk and other characteristics of it. And so we want to try to minimize that. This is an example of how our food isn't the same as our parents' food or our grandparents' food. When our grandparents were drinking dairy, it wasn't affected by environmental contaminants because we hadn't added as many contaminants to our environment. But now, we have changed our environment and we've put a lot of pollution out there, and it comes back to us through our food chain. So we need to avoid things where some of that contamination has been sort of concentrated, and dairy is an example of that. One of the statistics that really shocks me about dairy is that countries that have the highest intake of dairy also have the highest incidence of both breast cancer and osteoporosis. The breast cancer is likely to be correlated with some of these environmental contaminants that we see in the dairy. But then there's also the issue of osteoporosis. Why would you have high incidence of osteoporosis? That's a weakness of your bones. If you are a country that takes in a lot of dairy, aren't we drinking the dairy to make our bones strong? We are. That is what we've been told. And yet, for some reason, we're seeing a very high incidence of osteoporosis at the same places where we see people ingesting a lot of dairy. And I'm going to talk more about why that is in just a minute. Another issue that we like to include when we talk about clean eating is gluten. You've all seen it, right? We've all seen the talk about gluten. We all know somebody who's gluten-free. You have seen it on menus now, gluten-free options in the grocery stores. And you might wonder, what is all the hype about gluten? Well, first of all, there are some people out there who have a true allergy to gluten, and they have a condition known as celiac disease. Most people are not allergic to gluten in that way. But gluten can be allergenic in all people. That we're not it depends on what kind of allergy you're talking about. So for example, I just want to give an example. My husband is allergic to bananas. If he eats a banana, he would have to have an EpiPen to inject himself to deal with the allergic reaction that he would have, or his throat could close up, or he could have trouble breathing. Many people have an allergenic reaction to gluten, but it's what we call a non-specific allergenic reaction. What that means is that it's not going to cause their throat to close up. It's not going to kill them. They're not going to need an EpiPen, but it does cause generalized inflammation around the body. And what we see that as is a bloating or a pot belly reaction after a meal. And sometimes it's not after an individual meal, but rather an accumulation of your diet containing a high amount of gluten all the time. So for many of these people, just reducing gluten makes a huge improvement. But we like to try to make the diet completely gluten-free for a period of time to help the body really flush out that inflammation, reduce the inflammation, get it back into sort of balance and get it back to normal. And then after that, you may be able to reintroduce gluten in a more moderate amount. There's that word that I said I was going to be using a lot. A moderate amount of gluten in the diet is usually not a problem for most people, but because it's difficult to digest and because it has these inflammatory properties, having too much gluten in your diet can cause a lot of side effects that you may not realize you're experiencing. Another thing we include in our definition of eating clean is trying to eliminate refined sugar. Refined sugar, not all sugar is created equal, okay? Refined sugar is the sugar taken from nature, taken from a natural source, separated from other ingredients. So for example, an apple has sugar in it, and there's nothing wrong with eating apples because an apple also has a lot of fiber and it has a lot of water and it has a lot of vitamins and nutrients in it as along with the sugar. But if we just distill out nothing but the sugar, what that's providing us with is empty calories. It's giving us an energy source, but it's not giving us any of the other beneficial nutrition. It's also very, very concentrated. So when it comes into our bodies, we absorb it very quickly, and it's going to cause a big rise in sugar in the body very quickly, instead of being absorbed slowly over a longer period of time like it would be if you ate an apple. So we want to try to eliminate refined sugars when, at least in the 28-day program, and cut them down in our Beat the Bulge program to try to take away those empty calories and make it so that the calories that we're taking into our body are providing us with a lot more nutrition. We're getting a lot more out of them. All right, I said I was going to talk more about toxins, detoxifying, diets or eating programs, and how that could be associated with weight loss. So to get started, I want to just quickly explain what a toxin is. Most of you might think, where am I getting exposed to toxins in my food? Sounds like toxic waste or something that should be stored in those hazardous waste barrels, right? But in reality, a toxin is anything that cannot be used as energy by the body or cannot be easily eliminated from the body. So remember I talked about all those man-made things, and I told you that our bodies doesn't easily process them. So those would all be considered toxins. But toxins can come to us from more places than just our food. Toxins come from everywhere. They come from our food. They come from your water supply if your water is contaminated or even just chlorinated. They can come across your skin. If you're using skincare products made by somebody other than Arbonne, you're probably absorbing toxins across your skin. Your skin is actually your biggest organ of absorption, and it only takes 26 seconds from when you apply something to your skin for it to be detectable in your bloodstream. So we are exposed to toxins through the air, through the water, through our food, through our skin, in all ways. And when the body becomes overwhelmed with toxins, it has a reaction. So initially, right, I told you we have these organs of detoxification, the liver, the lungs, the kidneys, and they should be able to remove toxins. But if we have too much for them to deal with, the way that they will respond is by forming protective fat cells around the toxins to protect the vital organs. It's what Dr. Barry Sears referred to as toxic fat. The more toxins you consume, the more of these fat cells you form, and the more difficult it will be to lose weight. So actually, a lot of people, when they go on a diet, they actually start increasing their toxin intake because they're using artificial sweeteners and artificial fats and a lot of preserved and prepared products to help them with weight loss. And what they're really doing is putting more toxins in. When you go on a diet, this also explains a little bit of the yo-yo dieting that we see. When you go on a diet, initially, you're going to, you make your changes to your diet, you cut your caloric intake, and you start to lose weight. And for about 2 weeks, you're going to lose weight. You're going to see that dropping in weight. But as this happens, you start to break down that toxic fat. You release the toxins back into the bloodstream, and the toxin level starts to go up. And so then the body says, no, I have to hold on to this fat to protect the vital organs from this toxic load. So then we see a plateau in the weight loss. So people go about 2 weeks and then they hit this plateau and they think, I don't understand. I'm still getting up at 5 in the morning. I'm still going to the gym every day. I'm not cheating on my diet. Why am I not losing weight? And that will often cause them to give up on their goals. And then we see that rebound weight gain where they regain 150% of what they lost. And that can become very frustrating. But the thing is, the body is a very adaptable thing, okay? I like to use this metaphor of the body like a bathtub. Okay, so if you can imagine a bathtub and you've got the spout on and you're putting water into the bathtub, but you have the drain open, okay? The water's flowing in through the spout and is flowing out through the drain. The water that's flowing in through the spout is like what you're putting into your body. And what's going out your drain is what's being eliminated through your organs of elimination. As long as the drain is open, okay, as long as the organs of elimination are working correctly, everything that comes in goes out. But what happens in that bathtub if you start to build up a little bit of a clog? Maybe some hair, something gets in the drain, right? And it starts to clog up a little bit. All of a sudden now, water is coming in faster than it's going out, and it begins to back up in the tub. The drain is clogged, okay? That's in the body, that's the equivalent of our organs of elimination being overwhelmed by toxins in the body. So the bathtub would fill up and eventually overflow. And the equivalent of a bathtub overflowing in the body is disease and dysfunction in the body. It's when things start to not work correctly because we've been overwhelmed by these toxins that we can no longer eliminate. All you have to do is remove the clog. All you have to do is support your organs of elimination that are naturally there to help you. And how do you do that? Well, you support those organs through, we're going to talk about some products that can support the function of your liver, your kidneys, your skin, your lungs, and help them to detoxify more effectively. And you turn down the spigot. You put less toxins in so that you're not overwhelming them so much. So we're gonna decrease the amount of toxins in the diet. We're gonna clean out the drain, and then we don't see those plateaus in weight loss. We see the weight loss continue until the body is in a healthy state. Now, this one is the category of keys to healthy living that I think I found to be the most confusing. Eliminate acidic, allergenic, and addictive foods. What the heck are these? What do we mean by acidic foods? Well, acidic foods, first of all, are not what we would think of as acidic. So when you think of acidic, you think of lemons, maybe. You might think of like vinegar or tomato sauce. And in reality, those things are not acidic foods. When we talk about acidic foods, we're talking about foods that produce acids in the body when we metabolize them. So when you take something into your body and your body digests it and breaks it down, absorbs it, and uses that as an energy source or uses that in the body, if it produces acids in the body, we call that an acidifying or an acidic food. Just to be clear, every single person listening to this presentation, your body has the same pH. You all are the same. And that's how we know, I mean, we have to be alive. Your body works very hard to do that. But if your diet is heavily skewed toward acidifying or acidic foods, then your body's working a lot harder to maintain that pH than somebody else's body might be. And that's where we're going to see a lot of side effects. All food falls into either the category of alkaline-forming or acid-forming foods, and a balanced diet has a good combination of both. So we're certainly not suggesting that you have to give up all acidifying foods, but rather that you keep them in balance. And in fact, the term balanced diet actually refers to a pH balance in our diet. Most doctors say that you can have a balance of 60% alkalizing, 40% acidifying, and have a healthy diet. But if you are out of balance to begin with, you need to go farther. You need to go 80% alkalizing, 20% acidifying or less to get your body back into balance. So what are some of the acidifying foods that you would need to avoid? Well, refined sugar, which we mentioned before under clean eating. Also dairy and gluten, which we mentioned before under clean eating. Soy is another one. Coffee, alcohol, and corn are all big offenders on the acidifying side of the scale. Um, so these are things that make up a huge percentage of the American diet. In fact, most people, when they see this part of the slide, say to themselves, oh no, that is all I eat. And you would not be wrong. If you look at statistics on the American diet, it says that we are very heavily skewed to this side of the balance of the pH balance scale in terms of the food that we're taking in. We take in a tremendous amount of refined sugar, dairy, gluten, and all of these acidifying foods. And so it's really important that you work on getting yourself back into balance. As our diet has evolved in the past 50 years and we've moved toward a more processed food diet, that's also pushed us towards the acidifying side. When we work on making our diet contain more whole foods, meaning unprocessed, unrefined foods, those tend to be the foods that push us onto the alkaline side. Okay, so things like the grains and leafy greens, vegetables tend to be more on the alkaline forming side. So we just need to find a balance in your diet. And when you do, you're going to see a huge improvement in your health. So let's talk a little bit about what kinds of things might change when you get your pH balance back in your diet. So even a mildly acidic diet can be associated with all the things I have listed here on the screen. Some very serious conditions like cardiovascular disease, diabetes, kidney stones, all of those fall under the category of being more common in people with even a mildly acidic diet. And most Americans are not mildly acidic, they're highly acidic. And think about how common those conditions are here in the United States. But some of the things that are associated with a diet that's skewed to the acid forming side are some of those things that we tell ourselves stories about, right? Aching muscles, low energy, chronic fatigue, joint pain, weight gain. All of these things are things that we maybe associate with getting older, having kids, being tired, not getting enough sleep. And in reality, it might be your diet. The great news about this is that you can fix it. You can fix it very quickly. In our 28-day clean eating program, we bring your acid and alkaline balance. We show you how to bring that back into balance by making healthy eating choices. So that when you come out the other end of it, your body should really have cleared a lot of the effects of the heavily acidifying diet. You're going to see reduced inflammation all over the body, and you're going to see an improvement in a lot of these things. You're going to have improved energy, you're going to sleep better, you're going to feel less achy, you're going to feel more mobility in your joints, and all of these things happen as that inflammation clears out of the body, and it can happen very quickly. And like I said, once you get your body back into balance, you can return to a 60-40 split between alkaline and acid forming foods. So we're not talking about not ever having these things again in your diet. We're just talking about moderation. All right, number 3, increase nutrient intake. This one seems pretty obvious. Most people know that they need to get a good amount of nutrients from their food. The problem is most people think that they do. And you're probably wrong. In 1936, the second session of the 74th Congress warned the American people of major mineral depletions due to what they at the time called modern farming methods. Let me tell you right now, our farming methods have evolved a lot since 1936, and they've only gotten more intense. So the mineral depletion they were seeing in 1936, which is now, 80 years ago or so, is only gotten more severe. Let me give you some examples. These nutrient levels have continued to fall since then. I couldn't find any statistics from 1936, but if we look at and compare 1966 to 1999, in 1966, a 100-gram serving of green beans provided the person consuming it with 56 grams of calcium. In 1999, 33 years later, that same serving of green beans provided only 37 grams of calcium. And that has to do with the fact that the calcium was being depleted from the soil that the green beans were grown in. That has only continued. So I don't know, I didn't find a number for now, but I'm sure it has continued to drop. So that leaves you with sort of a conundrum, right? What do? Do you eat more green beans to get the amount of calcium that you need to get? The green beans still have the same amount of calories. So to get the same amount of nutrition, we need to eat a larger serving size, which is increasing our caloric intake. So that's not ideal. That's not what you want, or else you're ending up being deficient in calcium. So this is another example of how our food is not the same as our grandparents' food, that this food has been depleted. Now, you can get around this by purchasing locally sourced, sustainably grown foods. A lot of local farmers use more sustainable agriculture methods that are going to give you more nutrition in the same food. And over and over and over again, studies have shown that if you go to the farmer's market locally and you buy a 100-gram serving of green beans, it's going to have more nutrition in it than if you go to your local grocery store and buy green beans that were grown on some large scale industrial farm. But we can't always buy all our food locally, so it's important to keep in mind that we need to be aware of our nutrient intake, because even minor nutritional deficits in our diet can lead to some pretty significant health consequences. So because of this, after reviewing the studies that took place over the course of time from 1966 through 2002, the American Medical Association, or AMA, concluded that all adults should be taking a multivitamin to prevent chronic disease. Prior to this, the recommendation was that only children and the elderly needed to take a multivitamin. In children, because they have sort of picky tastes as their tastes are developing and they may not be eating all the diversity of food that they need to be eating, and the elderly because their nutrient absorption declines with age. But now it's recommended that everyone take one because we're just not getting the same amount of nutrition from our food. We'll talk a little bit more about how you can achieve that or what kind of supplements you should be looking for in a minute. Balancing blood sugar, this is another super obvious one to most people, but again, most people don't think that it needs to be of concern to them. Most of us know somebody who has diabetes or a blood sugar regulation problem because it's such a common issue in the United States right now. But it turns out that even for somebody who's not a diabetic, keeping your blood sugar in balance should be a goal. It should be important to you. Anytime you eat carbohydrates and digest them and absorb them into your bloodstream, your blood sugar is going to go up. And when blood sugar rises in the body, it promotes inflammation. So every time you're ingesting carbohydrates, you're promoting inflammation in the body. This is going to be more enhanced if you're eating those refined carbohydrates, like the simple sugars and the refined sugars, because they're going to be absorbed more quickly, and that's going to cause the blood sugar to go higher, and then the inflammation is more extreme. To bring the blood sugar back down, your body releases insulin. And what insulin does is it signals all the cells in the body to pull the sugar into them and help bring your blood sugar down and provide energy to your cells. So that sounds good. And most people who aren't diabetic, they have insulin to help them with that. But it turns out that insulin does a few other things in the body. It also tells your body to hold on to fat because it's not needed as an energy source. And fat provides more energy per gram than sugar does. But if sugar is being made available to the body is always going to preferentially use the sugar. So when you take those simple sugars in, the blood sugar spikes, it releases insulin. The insulin helps to pull that sugar out of the bloodstream, but it also signals the fat and says, nope, we're not going to break down any more fat. We have plenty of sugar to use for energy. So that's going to undermine weight loss efforts if that's your goal. So you really want to make sure that the sugars that you're eating are absorbed slowly to eliminate or minimize insulin spikes in the body so that you don't have so much insulin being released and you don't have it signaling the fat not to be broken down. To do this, we choose complex carbohydrates, which break down more slowly. Have an increased fiber intake. Fiber is a huge problem for Americans. A very small percentage of Americans get an adequate amount of fiber, but fiber can do a lot of awesome things for us, and we'll talk a little bit more about fiber in a minute. Last but not least, we want to support our elimination organs. That's our liver and kidneys primarily, but also the organs of the GI tract, and it also includes your skin and your lungs, anywhere where you eliminate waste. How do we support our elimination organs? Well, like I said, turn down the spigot. We want to decrease the toxins coming in, which you do by eating clean. So we've already talked about that. The other thing is fiber. So I already said that fiber helps to balance our blood sugar because it slows the intake of carbohydrates. So that's part of the reason that eating that apple is better than eating a teaspoon of sugar. The fiber in the apple is going to slow the absorption of the sugar from the apple, but it does other stuff for you too. Fiber is not digestible, so it makes you feel fuller longer, and having a meal that has more fiber in it is going to keep you from being hungry before your next meal. So that can help you with kind of caloric maintenance, not snacking, and things like that. It also acts like a sponge for toxins, and especially soluble fiber. There's two different kinds of fiber, and I'm not going to get too much into that tonight, but soluble fiber really pulls toxins out of the body and into the digestive tract, where it can then be excreted with the fiber, the undigestible fiber, with the digestive waste. So we want anything that's going to pull toxins out of our body is awesome. So how do you support these your liver, specifically your liver and your kidneys, with a supplement? And what you want to be doing is you want to be looking for a supplement that naturally supports liver function with a natural ingredient. Again, you don't want to be using a supplement that uses a man-made ingredient, because that's something we're trying to avoid. So we want to be looking for milk thistle. This is actually a picture of a milk thistle. It's a very beautiful flower. But it turns out milk thistle is a very strong supporter of natural liver function. So if you're looking for milk thistle as an ingredient in your detox products, detox teas and things like that, which I'm going to speak about in a minute, then that's going to help support your optimal function of the liver and let it work at its best. All right, so now that I've talked about the 5 keys to health, I want to talk just a little bit about what Arbonne is. I've mentioned that I'm a consultant with Arbonne. I'm actually a manager with Arbonne. And mostly, I've told you that we've long been known for our natural skincare products. And that is what the company started as. But we also have a very strong interest in nutrition and the importance of nutrition in building a strong, healthy person from the inside out. We have been around for a long time. We are a 35-year-old network marketing company. We produce, all of our products are botanically based, meaning that the active ingredients in our products come from plants. We are vegan, so we don't use any animal-based products at all. And we focus on skincare, health, and wellness products. Our product philosophy from the very beginning has always been pure, safe, and beneficial. What that means is we don't put anything in our products that's not good for you, that's not healthy and safe. And that philosophy came directly from our founder, who was a botanical chemist, and believed that you shouldn't put anything in your products that wasn't tested and proven to be safe. Focusing right now on just our nutrition products are all gluten-free, they're vegan, they're free of artificial colors, flavors, and sweeteners, and really any kind of man-made garbage. We don't have any of that in any of our nutrition products. And they are cholesterol and trans fat free as well. In addition to that, they are kosher certified, and we are GMO free. One of the most important things to me about our nutrition products is that they are not designed to replace healthy eating. There are a lot of companies out there that want to sell you your food. They want you to eat nothing but what they sell you. And that doesn't help you live in the real world. You're not going to go to a dinner party or a restaurant and have those products available to you. You need to develop a plan for healthy eating that lets you live in the real world, shop in the grocery store, cook your own food. And Arbonne's products are not designed to replace that kind of healthy eating of good, healthy, whole foods, but rather to help you ease the transition and to support your wellness goals as you do. Because you know what? Most of us just don't have time to cook 3 healthy whole foods meals each day. And so it's good to have a product that can help support you in your goals without replacing the real food. So I'm going to talk just briefly about Arbonne's nutrition products and our 28-day clean eating program, as well as what we call our Beat the Bulge program. I'm going to go over this pretty quickly. But if you have any other questions, you can either contact me directly, or you can reach out to the consultant that invited you to view this program. One thing that's awesome about our nutrition products is that they address all 5 keys to health. So they help you work toward clean eating because they don't contain any of that stuff that we're asking you to avoid when you're eating clean. They help you to reduce inflammation in the body by reducing acidic, allergenic, and addictive foods from your diet and giving you some options for alternatives. They help to maintain healthy blood sugar. All of our products have been approved by the American Diabetic Association as being low glycemic index foods. So if you're dealing with blood sugar regulation issues, these are a great choice for you. They help you to increase your nutrient intake and support your body's ability to naturally detoxify. I'm not going to go over pricing in this presentation. Like I said, reach out to the consultant that invited you to view this, but we have a great package deal if you're interested in the 28-day clean eating program that gets you even better pricing than we've offered in the past. So you might want to check that out with your consultant. So you may be asking yourself, here I've told you that you're not supposed to have gluten, dairy, or soy, and you're supposed to be minimizing your saturated fat from animal-based sources. How are you going to do that and still get protein and still get your 3 meals a day? One of the things we have that's an awesome product for helping you to do that is our protein shake. Our protein shake comes in chocolate and vanilla flavors. Each serving of our protein shake has 20 grams of vegan protein and 13 grams of carbohydrate. It is a complete amino acid profile, even though it is a vegan source. So it is a blend of cranberry, rice, and pea proteins, and by blending those, we get complete amino acid profile. A lot of vegan sources are an incomplete protein. And if we had just cranberry or just rice or just pea, it would be an incomplete protein. But because we use this blend, you get all the amino acids that you need from a vegan source. So you don't have to be utilizing an animal-based source, which would be more acidifying. It also, aside of providing you with the protein and the carbohydrates in a great ratio, it also includes 20 essential vitamins and minerals. So if you were eating a real meal, a real plate of food, a breakfast that had 20 grams of protein and 13 grams of carbohydrates, it would also have vitamins and minerals in it. And so our protein shake contains that as well, which gives you everything you need out of your meal. And these can be used to replace a meal, or they can be used between meals. So a lot of people who are using our program will choose to have 1 or even 2 shakes a day. Breakfast is my personal choice. I have my Arbonne shake every morning for breakfast. But some people will do 2 if that's what you want. A lot of people will just do 1 and then maybe have a second one as an after workout drink because they have a great ratio of protein and carbohydrates to serve as an after workout as well. Plus they have a special herbal blend that helps to promote energy and detoxification, which includes alfalfa, kelp, and ginseng. So that's going to give you a little bit more energy, and it's going to support your organs of detoxification, which is one of our goals in the program. The taste of these is just amazing. I absolutely love my vanilla protein shake. They blend well with lots of, fruit additives. You could add fruit. You could add a nut butter or a seed butter if you're avoiding peanuts. We give you tons and tons of recipes. So just like almost an unlimited number of ideas for what to do with it. So you never have to worry about getting bored. You also, with our products, we have lots of things that can help you in other ways as well. And this is maybe my favorite product that we offer across the board. And it's going to help you to boost your energy, which is a big problem when a lot of people are dieting or changing their diet. They'll feel low energy, and that is not going to be an issue for you at all. And also help you to balance your blood sugar. And along the way, it's going to help you to replace coffee and soda. Coffee is sometimes the deal breaker for people on our 28-day program. They just say they don't think they can give it up. But our energy fizz sticks are an awesome, awesome way to help you transition away from that. I myself was a 2 coffee, 2 soda a day person before I started on this program a few years ago. And now I drink absolutely no soda. I don't crave it. My taste has changed by going through this program. And very little coffee, only just when I want a cup more to enjoy it, but not to wake me up. This energy fizz sticks are clinically proven to boost your metabolism. So it's going to help boost anything that boosts your metabolism, gives you more energy, makes you feel more energetic, which is wonderful. It is, instead of being acidifying like coffee or the refined sugar and soda, or maybe the milk you put in your coffee, all those things are acidifying. It's very, very highly alkaline forming. So it helps to bring your pH back into balance. We don't use artificial sweeteners, so we use stevia, which keeps it very low calorie, but you don't have, without having the artificial ingredients. So that's awesome. They come in citrus and pomegranate flavor, I should say that, both of which are excellent. They contain a ton of B vitamins, and B vitamins are super important in liver function and energy metabolism in the body. So this makes it a great post-workout recovery drink, although we also have a great line of workout supplements that I could speak with you about outside of this presentation if you're interested. There's many additional herbal ingredients as well to help accomplish kind of balancing out your energy and your mood as well. So rhodiola is in there to improve mood. We've all had, you know, the situation where if you're anything like me, your blood sugar starts to drop a little and you get what I call the hangries, like all of a sudden you're hungry, angry. And rhodiola is going to be a mood booster as well. So you're going to feel better. You're going to have more endurance and alertness from the ginseng and guarana. Your chromium is going to help balance blood sugar. So it's great for people who deal with blood sugar spikes. And we have some potent antioxidants in it as well, which can help fight free radicals in the body, which are associated with really every disease process from aging to Alzheimer's disease. We have some great supplements. Now, the supplements I'll tell you right now are not included in that ASVP package that, or some of them are, and some of them aren't. But they're a great add-on to the package if you're interested, or if you are someone who already takes vitamins or is thinking about adding vitamins to your regimen. We have power packs for both men and women. It's called a power pack because it's multiple supplements in one little package. The men's formula is very similar to the women's, except it has an added ingredient for prostate health. All of them are very highly absorbable, which means that everything you read on the box is actually going to end up absorbing into your body. If you use a one-a-day type vitamin, they are so compressed and processed that much of it ends up passing right through you. You don't even digest it to the point where it could be absorbed. But ours are very absorbable. They have a special herbal ingredient. It's actually a black pepper extract called piperine that increases nutrient absorption levels by up to 60%. So that's not only going to help you absorb more nutrition from these supplements, but also absorb more nutrition from your food. So that's a wonderful added benefit. And they contain probiotics to help improve the health of your gut, which is also going to improve absorption. If your gut is inflamed and unhealthy and irritated, you're not absorbing very effectively. Whereas these probiotics are going to help improve the health of the gut and reduce inflammation and improve absorption. We're also in these power packs. One of the pills is a digestive enzyme pill. So if you have any issues with, for instance, like starting to become a little lactose intolerant or have trouble digesting certain foods, these enzymes can really help. You have to break down your food to get nutrition from it. So digestive enzymes can improve nutrient availability. And we're also going to have a very high level of antioxidants in these, which, as I said, huge concern, free radicals being associated with aging and many, many other disease processes. So we want to increase the level of antioxidants in our diet. The other supplement, and I don't have it pictured on this page, and this is part of our nutrition package, is our Digestion Plus supplement. It's a blend of pre and probiotics and digestive enzymes without the actual just vitamins and minerals that the power packs have. And it gives you an amazing support for both your immune system and your digestive system at the same time. If you take a probiotic or a prebiotic, you might want to consider checking ours out in comparison. It has a patented probiotic engineered to survive the acidity of the stomach so that those bacteria, those beneficial bacteria, can actually get into the intestines, into the gut where they need to be, and survive and do what it is that they're supposed to be doing. Having a healthy gut can also help balance serotonin in the body, which improves mood as well. Now, remember we said we want to promote detoxification. We want to support those organs of detoxification that are already there working for us. And one of the ways we do that was through fiber. We have a flavorless fiber boost product that can be added to literally anything, a glass of water, your cereal, your spaghetti, whatever you want to put it in. Personally, I put a scoop in my protein shake every morning to boost my fiber intake for the day. Each scoop gives you 12 grams of soluble fiber, which is about half the recommended daily amount. And we sort of assume you're getting the other half from your healthy whole foods diet. But you are able to double that if you want. It's going to, like we said before, act like a sponge for pulling out toxins, helping you balance blood sugar by slowing the absorption of sugar, and keep you feeling fuller longer between meals. The herbal detox tea, which I mentioned I have a cup of right here at the start of this presentation, one of my favorite products that we offer, is an awesome blend of 9 botanicals, including milk thistle, which was that ingredient that I told you supports liver function. And one of my favorite things to do with my detox tea is to add an energy fizz stick for a boost of energy. And it replaces that warmth of a coffee in the morning because you have your hot detox tea with a citrus fizz stick to give you some energy and support detoxification. In the summer, it is absolutely excellent chilled as an iced tea, so you can keep up that habit in the summer. And last but not least, you also have our 7-day body cleanse. This is a product that you don't use continuously. It is a blend of 14 herbal and algal ingredients that comes in a concentrate, which you add to 32 ounces of fresh water and sip on once a day for 7 days in a row to help promote whole body detoxification, boost your immune function, and really pull you back to being in balance in terms of pH because it's so highly alkalizing. This is a great product to use even if you don't do our 28-day program. We do encourage you to use it on week 2 or 3 of the 28-day program, but it can be used as much as once a month, but most of the time I encourage my clients to use it 3 to 4 times a year just to get you back in balance after those times of the year like the holidays where we get really off schedule. It can improve not only your digestive health, but your immune system, mental concentration and sleep, just by helping you get rid of those excess toxins. Now, I've been talking about our 28-day clean eating challenge. This is a program that we've been running pretty successfully for a couple of years now. What I always tell people is that you can do anything for 28 days. You know, it may sound like a lot. Our program is an elimination program. So you're going to be eliminating dairy, soy, and gluten, as well as some of the other things that I listed before on a avoid list that are very acidifying or allergenic or don't fall under our category of clean eating. So you're going to eliminate these things for 28 days. After those 28 days, you can reintroduce them because what we're looking to see is which of those foods, if any, is causing you a problem with digestion or health. But you're going to get rid of them for 28 days. At the same time, you're going to be integrating Arbonne's gluten-free, vegan, nutritional products, including our shakes, our fiber, our detox tea, our fizz, our digestion plus, and our 7-day cleanse. And we're going to support you daily through a Facebook group where we provide you with grocery lists and abundant recipes, more than you'll ever use, tell you exactly what to go out and buy, exactly what to look for, things to avoid, and you're going to get daily support through motivation, through interaction with other people participating in the same program. We can answer your questions. It's always going to be run by a consultant who has experience leading these groups. So you're going to have plenty of people there who can answer your questions. And it's been a really, really successful thing for us. It's fun to get friends involved. If you have coworkers, we can put one together just for your office or your school or your family and just do it for just you, or we can integrate you into one with other people. Just to give you a few before and afters, I just think these are amazing. I just grabbed these. These are just some examples of people that have used our program and some of the success that they've had over time. It's not like I said, a rapid weight loss program, but people see some pretty significant weight loss in the 28 days, or if they keep going, a lot of people continue to really look at this as a lifestyle, because when you come out the other side, the way you look at food has changed, and you're not going to want to go back to eating the way you ate before, at least not entirely. And so the weight you lose is going to stay off. It's lost at a healthy rate. It's helped you to find new strategies, and people, you just feel so much better afterwards. So that people, obviously these are all examples of people who've lost weight, but there's some excellent examples out there of people who've gotten off medications that they've been on forever, people who've reached fitness goals that they've wanted to reach, all different kinds of health benefits of participating in a program like this. But let's say, for example, you're just not quite ready for our full 28-day commitment. That's no problem. Sometimes thinking about that much change all at once can be hard. Maybe you haven't tried any of these products yet. You're not sure you're ready for it. That's okay. We're here for you whenever you decide that you're ready. But in the meantime, maybe you want to jump on board and try our new program, which we call the Beat the Winter Bulge program. We've actually been running this through the holidays as well, and we're going to start up a new group in the spring to help people deal with some of that winter weight gain. One statistic that we've shared with our holiday group is that the average American gains between 1 and 10 pounds over the holidays, and most people will never lose it. So even if you're only putting on 1 pound a year over 20 years from the time you're 20 till you're 40, that can amount to 20 pounds of excess weight that you never lose, because we tend to be more sedentary in the winter months and into the spring, and so that weight just doesn't go away. So what we want to do through this program is help you stay focused on healthy eating and staying active even though it's winter. We're going to give you a lot of suggestions for ways to stay active, alternatives. You know, if you do have, like, we don't want to have you miss out on all the holiday events, or, you know, getting to go out and enjoy, you know, a treat. Again, moderation is always the key in these programs. We just help you balance that with healthy eating the rest of the time and give you a lot of great recipes and ideas. For this program, you're using a mini package, which is going to get you 1 bag of our protein powder, some energy fizz in either citrus or pomegranate, some of our fit chews, which I didn't talk about. They're like a little snack to help you get through the day without resorting to the vending machine, some detox tea, and the Digestion Plus probiotic, because that's just so important this time of year with all the colds and viruses going around. We want to keep our immune system strong. If your immune system's strong and you're healthy, it's going to be easier to go to the gym or stay active than if you're dragging around. And we definitely integrate that into the program. This, just like with the full 28-day program, we run this through Facebook, so you're going to have ongoing support, suggestions and ideas, and this is going to be a ongoing Facebook group where we're just going to continue to add people and continue to share over time. So this is another great program. If you're interested in more information about the Beat the Bulge program, just reach out to that consultant that invited you to listen to this, and they can share the package costs and some options with you and help get you started, because really, you know, there's no time like the present to make a change in your health and start to take control of it. I love this quote too. I know I've had a couple I've said I loved, but there is no diet that will do what eating healthy does. So skip the diet and just eat healthy. Just put your effort into making better choices and teaching yourself what is a good choice for you, because something that one person may be able to eat without any problem might be a problem for you. So you can't necessarily say that the same rules apply to everybody. We all have to figure out what's working for us and go with it. And that's what this program can help you do. That's pretty much it for my presentation. Let me get back to let's turn off screen share. There I am. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen tonight. I'm sorry about our technical difficulties on our first broadcast. If you were listening to that, I apologize. I hope you were able to get some information and some suggestions, some good ideas out of this. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me or to the consultant that invited you here, and we'd be glad to chat with you more to answer any specific questions that you have. Thanks, everybody, and happy, healthy New Year.